Hi friends, and welcome. Today we're headed up to Nogami Lodge. Tina and I are to visit our old friends Eric and Sue Lund. And I have to tell you, if you're a frequent flyer or regular viewer here on the program, then you've probably noticed that this place has become sort of like Tina's personal fishing hole, at least when it comes to walleye. She catches so many fish and so many good fish there, it's almost an embarrassment of riches. And I'll tell you, a few of you have noticed because I get a lot of you stopping me and saying, hey, how come you keep letting Tina outfish you? Well, there is no let involved. But I generally answer that question, or at least I used to, by saying, well, she's really accomplished and, she's more than a little bit lucky, but I've just quit doing that. Because when it comes to walleye fishing, especially at Nogami Lodge, well, I'm your host, Kyle Randall. This is my Wilderness Journal, and Tina catching big walleye up in Canada, well, that's just kind of her thing. Before the last plane bringing visitors to and from Nogami cleared the lake, we were already fishing. We had stopped at what we thought was a pike spot to try a few casts, but after running a big glide bait through there, all I was seeing was walleye. There's fish here. There's walleye here. They're hitting that glide bait. See that glide bait right there? There's walleye coming up and hitting it. I just saw one. And for Tina and the rest of us, that's all it took. We were instantly walleye fishing.
You like that?
Oh, there's a fish on the jig. Actually ain't so bad, but I guess they're spoiled fish in here. Catch 15, 16-inch walleye and you go, oh, that's a little one. Come here, buddy. Come here. Little dude. There you go. Be a good lunch fish. Yeah, it's just like a fish, almost, but smaller. That's all right. And it wasn't just me catching walleye in this pike spot.
He's splashing at me.
Oh. Still wiggling.
Good fish.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's a fish.
It's a fish. Nice fish too. I'll take it. It's all right.
There were definitely some walleye biting at that pike spot, but after another hour or so, the weather coming in the way it was, Eric decided to move us to a different place, maybe had a few more fish, but would definitely be out of the weather. We got set up on the next place and I threw a couple of pike baits. That's what I usually do. But Eric and Tina were jigging for walleye. So you gotta know.
So you have a problem?
Yeah. Not the species we were targeting here, but we're not a real picky crowd here. So okay. If you cannot break my line for another 3 seconds, I'd appreciate that. Hey, yeah.
Well, that's one way to release them.
Randall style, 1968.
And it's better for the fish.
And that jig was getting a little worn out. I wanted it.
Yeah.
Hey, you believe any of that?
No.
No.
Nice fish, though. On a jigging rod, that's a dandy. Well, walleye spot or no, that's all it took to get Eric and I back to pike fishing. Right there's one, brother.
Oh yeah, nice fish.
Got a little bit of, look at that.
Nice looking fish. Beauty.
See where that glide bait is? It's down around his earlobes. Whitefish pattern glide bait. Check.
Check. Tackle. That's a nice fish. Beautiful.
Well, I think he's done. Sorta. We'll see. Or Matt, look at that. Let me get him in the boat here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Nice heavy one.
That's not the biggest pike at Nogami by any stretch, but he's full of vim and vigor. We'll take him. We'll put him back here. He was a good fighter. Okay, you ready?
You've done that before.
Second time. Second time.
Oh, good.
It's the whitefish glide bait. You got one of those, right?
I do.
As long as I have one, you have one?
Right.
I remember fly fishing you with. It was the same deal. As long as I have one, mysteriously you have one. Yeah, that worked. And he did eat it. Gotta love pike. If you don't like pike fishing, there's something bad wrong with you. I don't know what it is. Let's go find his mom. Cool. It figured we'd find pike in the walleye spot. Yeah, that's just the way this place is. And to tell the truth, I wasn't complaining. I'm always big pike fishing, at least to some degree, whenever I'm up at Nogami. It's just that kind of place you just never know. I will say, however, Tina had watched patiently, and then she decided, you know what, it's time to fish out of the other side of the boat. Tina did figure it was well past time to go back to walleye fishing, and Eric, being the guy he is, he was trying to help her out.
Actually, when you bring it in, Tina, take a cast about 25 yards that way, right there. That way I'll catch the big one. Oh, did I just say that? No.
Friends, I don't think Tina believed Eric was trying to be helpful. And despite not taking his advice, pull that fish up here. What are you doing?
I'm trying to.
I wish you would.
You might get it. Why?
Huh?
That's a handful there. Nice thick fish.
Cool.
Good job.
Thank you.
For the record, yes, Tina did catch walleye in that walleye spot, just like always, but the weather was closing in, and Eric suggested if we were going to try one more location before it got too windy and rough, we better get moving. And on our way to that next spot, Tina was putting in her order. She was telling Eric, now look, this is how I want to fish. We want big fish out of the wind, close to a cappuccino bar.
Yes.
You don't want much.
Never.
And Eric, being the top-notch outfitter that he is, what's that? They're oohing all over. Ooh here and an ooh there, everywhere and ooh ooh. I hadn't seen any cappuccino bar, but the fish were obviously here.
Well, can you keep your fish over there, please?
Getting a little bit nervous.
There goes that one.
Hey, ooh.
Here, I can get that off. There we go.
Mine's bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It was.
I'll try to prove that it isn't. Thank you.
You're welcome. That'd be a nice one for the fry pan right there.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hey, nice.
Thank you.
Well, they did catch a few more decent walleye before the rain and the wind shut us down. We ran in, had a great dinner, and after the rain blew through, or at least we thought it had, Tina decided, you know, we should go back out for a little evening fishing.
It's quite the cloud.
You bring your rain gear?
Yeah.
Good.
That right there.
Never leave the dock without rain gear.
She looks like she just wants to burst open and start raining.
Yep.
She's a little bit over there.
There's one right there. Oh, look at that. There's a gooder one.
Ooh.
Look at that big old boy. Little afternoon delight there. Just a little something after dinner. Look at that. How about that? Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. Probably 20 inches of walleye. Little something after dinner. See if he wants to come see me. Come here, buddy. Oh, yeah. Just a nice, thick little walleye, boy. Just 20 minutes sooner than you could have been dinner. We literally just finished eating. But we got us another little spot here. Hopefully we can talk some fish into visiting.
Now there's a quandary though. Ribs or walleye?
Walleye. I
Okay.
can get ribs at home.
There you go.
Ribs are good here, don't get me wrong. But fresh walleye out of cold water. From the lake to the frying pan to the plate in less than 10 minutes. That's tough to beat. The fish were definitely hitting, but so would another batch of rain and wind in just a few minutes. I asked Tina, do you want to shut it down? You want to go in before the weather gets here? And all I got for a reply was that stare, yeah. And fortunately for me, as long as we weren't going in. Another really good one. Well, the bite is starting to pick up. There's a good fish. Yeah. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. I think he's about done. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. There. Taste fishy. Yeah, so there appears to still be some fish around here. We weren't keeping that fish anyway, and that way I didn't get my hands slippery. You understand? Yeah. The clouds were definitely still building. It was going to open up and rain, and it seemed like everybody else was actually headed for shore. But hey, the fish were still biting. Oh, there's something. Hit it going. Oh, no. Look at that. Man, he hit that thing. A little bit of weather coming in, but the fish are still biting. There is a dandy right there. Let me get down here. Still a darn nice fish, but man. See if I can get him up out of here. That's a right reasonable fish right there. We'll take those all night long, won't we? Outstanding. There. That fish hit like he was a 20-pounder. I mean, just whap. I really did think it was a pike. We're gonna have to go right up through there and see, can we find his big brother? That was how you want them all to hit, right there. If we don't get run out by rain. There was obviously more rain headed our way, and I asked Tina again, do you want to go in? But she absolutely refused. You know, one of the reasons I think that girl catches so many fish is there's no quit in her. The absolute truth, being there is 96% of all success, and Tina understands that as well or better than any fisher person I've ever been with. You got fish.
Yeah, I got fish.
Oh, you got fish with attitude.
Attitudinal.
You got nice fish.
Oh, come on, settle down. I'll take them out. Okay, slow down. Chill.
I'll land that for you.
Thank you.
Come here, big boy. How about that? He actually acts like he wants to get away. How about we let him?
Let him.
All right, put him back. Nice fish, girl.
Thank you.
Better get one more before the rain comes, though. I think we're about done.
Okay.
And we were done. About? Oh, there's another fish. Another walleye. Oh yeah, another nice walleye. That one, girl. I tell you, there's some fish here. Looks like there's gonna be some weather here too, though. Let's get this one in, and maybe we better head her for the barn. Maybe we better. Come here, buddy. You ain't so bad. It is a perfect eating fish, though. You know what?
Yes, it is.
And I think it's the perfect way to end a perfect day. You got all the big ones, but I can live with that. Hopefully, you know, everybody else can too. Bye-bye. See you in a year. I think we might better throw on the rest of our rain gear and head her for the dock, don't you?
Yes.
Take a look over there. Isn't that pretty? Rainbow? Double rainbow?
It's a double one.
Well, after catching a couple more, Tina decided it was time to call it a night. A beautiful double rainbow was working its way across the lake in advance of yet another shower, so we headed in. But the very next morning, despite a heavy fog, she wanted to skip breakfast and go right back to it.
Okay, that's a fish.
That's not a rock?
That's not a rock.
Oh, that's a darn nice fish, girl. Yeah, that's a nice Walter.
It's raining.
Need a hand?
I can get him.
All right.
Play nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
There, that's the way to start your morning.
That's a nice fish.
You bet it is. That is as good a start to the day as you can. That's better than Wheaties. Well, to the young folks out there, I'm sorry. The old folks, they know that Wheaties breakfast of champions, the way to start your day. Never mind. We'll save a couple of them later. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there went a pike. Mr. Pike. Well, you got one. You can put it back. Nice job.
Thank you.
You give lessons?
Sure.
I may need some. Tina was pushing the buttons and pulling the levers, doing whatever it is she does because the fish were now coming over the rail almost constantly. And when the sun finally came out and burned off that fog, well, then that girl just flat got out of hand. Got him?
There's one.
That's what we come looking for right there. Look at that fish.
Come on. Yay!
Yeah. There he is. Oh, yeah, girlfriend, look at that. That's a Walter.
It's a nice one.
You think? That's what we was looking for. Now, you want a hand landing that one?
I dropped the last one.
Yeah, we'll get a hand on this. That's a big fish. That's probably 25, 26 anyway.
Excellent.
I don't know if I got enough hand to get a hold of that. There, let's try it that way. What do you think of that?
It's beautiful.
That is a big old good one, girl. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You don't want a picture with that?
No, that's okay. Let's wait for the big one.
Yeah, let's wait for the big one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll put him back. Okay. There he goes, right there. Nice fish.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That is a dandy. In the middle, it's 11:20 in the morning, girl. Bright sunshine, the fog finally burned off. And you're catching monster walleye. This place is something, isn't it? Think you have one more in you before we eat lunch?
Yeah.
All right, well. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, ain't. Well, it's sort of a fish. It isn't like one of your fish. I'll take them. No, that's a Kyle fish. Good enough to feed you. You know, it's hard to complain. This place will spoil you. People would love to catch fish like that. And I do too, but this place throws them up a lot bigger. Let me get him in here.
Do you want me to land that for you?
No, I think I can lift it. Come here, there. Just a sandwich fish, as Tina likes to call them. Not a cracker fish. This is a sandwich size. He's going to be a trophy one day, but not yet. We'll put him back. There we are, buddy. So, I see how it's going to be. I get the little ones out of the road, and then you go ahead and catch the big ones. Nothing changes. Oh, I'll take it. I can do it. I understand my job. And speaking of understanding your job, got fish?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I can see it from here. Got big fish. Oh, Tina. Here comes another one. Look at that. Look at you.
Eek.
Look at you. Look at that.
I'll take it.
You want me to pick that out of there?
Please.
All right. Come here now. Turn around, big boy. Look at that. You're making a habit out of this. I tell you, I'm not going to be able to walk through trigger time ever again. Every time I go there, guys stop me. Why do you let your wife catch more fish than you? There's no let involved. Nice fish, girl.
Thank you.
That's all right. I'll land fish for you like that all day long. There she goes. Thanks for coming out and playing our game, huh? Nice fish. Again, some more.
Thank you for helping me bring them in.
Well, I got nothing else to do. In the middle of the day in the bright sunshine, the fish were still biting. We were going to eat lunch, but... Come here, buddy. Did I mention the fish were still biting? Little dude. There you go. Be a good lunch fish. Got another fish?
I think so.
Oh, there's a little better walleye there. You want me to land that, or are you going to get it?
No, I can get them. There.
Well, there he goes.
So much for that one.
Bye, fish.
He didn't like that.
No. That's the way it is, friends. It's just kind of a Tina thing, yeah? We have such a good time when we go there, and I want to thank Tina and Eric for sharing another great adventure with me. I should tell you, Tina doesn't always catch the most or the largest fish. In fact, sometimes, just occasionally, she'll even let me catch a few. You know the truth, though? If you're a betting man or woman, if you want to wager, let's say, next week's grocery money on a walleye tournament up at Nogami Lodge, unless you like eating wish sandwiches and crow, my advice is don't bet against the girl. Not ever. Hey, take your husband, your wife out, go fish and enjoy what we enjoy, and don't worry about letting her outfish you. She'll take care of that all by herself. Yeah, and just have a good time like we do. And you never know, we might just see you out there, and if we do, well, you can bet we're going to stop, share a cup and a fire, maybe a shore lunch and a fishing story or two. And if we don't see you out there, friends, well, then we'll wait for you right back here so we can share another adventure from my wilderness journal.